Let me start off by saying that a theory isn't a guess. It's a thought with no basis, whereas a theory is backed with evidence to explain why something is the way that it is. Also, theories could be pretty damn fun. We've all come up with theories for some of our favorite series, especially if the story that's being told is enriched with deep lore and has a lot of unanswered questions. I have no issues with people coming up with theories, though sometimes I do feel like there's always a group of people who make the craziest stretches ever. Not to get off track so early, but during Dexter Resurrection, I've read some pretty wacky shit. Some fans were coming up with theories about how Quinn could have been the New York Ripper, or that the girl Harrison was being intimate with was actually his sister. Now, if you're a fan of Dexter with a half-functioning brain, this probably sounds stupid to you. And if you've never watched Dexter, 1. What are you doing with your life? And 2. That second theory probably sounds weird as hell. I will never say that coming up with theories with the homies or strangers online can't be a good time. I'll even say that's a perk of having episodes drop weekly opposed to it all dropping at once. So how can fan theories possibly ruin a show for you? Well, for that I want you to look back during your watch through of any show that was fairly popular as it was still airing, maybe something that you and your friends were watching, and you all came up with predictions about how the future of the show would go. Or maybe you were a part of an online community, or even a spectator seeing people's reactions right after an episode dropped, and you saw all the theories that people were creating. Even you who's still listening, yeah, you're occasionally smart, right? You probably came up with a theory that sounded so perfect in your head that there was no way you could have been convinced that the show could have went in another direction. Maybe my anecdotal experience in this department is just trash, but in my experience, some of these people who are heavy on the theory shit get really disappointed when their theories fall flat. All of those precious months of connecting dots and analysis from breadcrumbs that they believed the show was leaving behind for them, only to find out that it was all for nothing. Now they're out here looking crazy and salty as hell like Mr. Crocker after once again failing to prove that fairies exist. I always found this situation so interesting. I mean, not the whole Mr. Crocker thing, but I mean, yeah, that is also interesting how a teacher can be so invested in an elementary student and not be fired or placed in prison, but I'll touch on that another time. Sometimes we're wrong with what we believe will happen in a story, but you gotta love when what you think will happen is actually subverted. And not just subverted just for the sake of it, but when it's well done and you're pleasantly surprised. But I get that not everyone will see it that way. Feeling disappointed and underwhelmed is understandable, but to be upset because a show didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, with all of your theories, is crazy to me. While I can't prove it, I truly believe that this is something a lot of people don't want to admit. And that's probably because their criticism of whatever show that they're shitting on would lose a fair bit of credibility once they announce this. The thing with constantly feeding into and creating theories is sometimes you can be setting your expectations so damn high that a show will never be good because it will never turn out the exact way that you want it to. Honestly, that right there is a big issue even outside of this theory hit piece that I'm giving right now. But yeah, some people get so wrapped up in this theory shit and thinking about what would be the most interesting and satisfying outcome for them that they get mad when the story is trying to show them something else. I mean, God forbid, right? Again, this doesn't only apply for people who craft theories, but for those people who get upset when their predictions fall off a cliff, they do it to themselves. No one told you to be Sherlock fucking Holmes. Personally, for me, I don't often do deep dives into theories, though I'm not opposed to hearing some that might be a bit out there as long as there's a good trail of evidence to support it. Like with me, I read the Hunter x Hunter manga, because God knows when that shit is ever gonna get animated again. And with all the characters in this current arc, with all of the powers that people have, or hidden abilities that they might have, the health of the current protagonist, and what will be the fate of certain characters, and all of that compounded into the fact that this series is infamous for going on long hiatuses. The Hunter x Hunter manga fanbase has nothing to do but to theorize. Do I blame them for doing this? Absolutely not. But again, you open the door to be disappointed when your theories amount to nothing. Thankfully for me, I have faith in my GOAT, so even if any of my theories amount to shit, I'm perfectly content with that. Or hey, maybe I'm just easy to appease compared to a lot of other critical consumers out there who break down shows like a pompous food critic. Not completely unrelated, but I kinda wanna run through Gen V real quick. So yeah, spoilers ahead for Season 2. The only part of the season that allowed any room for any theories was the mystery surrounding Cypher, and I gotta say, pardon the glaze right here, but this man carried the hell out of this season. Pretty much every scene with Hamish Linklater was incredible, from how intimidating he was to trying to figure him out, learn what his powers were, and discovering his purpose with Marie. Cypher was easily the best part of the season, and a great part of it was because of Hamish's performance. Now, with the glaze out of the way, once the Burn Man was revealed, I feel like a lot of people guessed that the man was Godolkin, while still trying to figure out Cypher, until he revealed his powers. Okay, so I'm fine with and understand people's complaints about going from Hamish Linklater to Ethan Slater, even though they're the same person, or think that Godolkin should have amounted to a solid antagonist up there with the likes of Homelander and Victoria Newman. Ah, God, I miss Victoria. Fuck you, Butcher. What I don't understand is the idea that Godolkin was rushed. Now, here's the part where I say a lot of unpopular opinions. I'm sorry, but rushed? I mean, hey, I like a good solid 10 to 12 episode seasons, as long as there isn't gonna be a bunch of padding to stretch out the story, but with the 8 episodes that they were given, Godolkin wasn't rushed. Hell, the man was there the entire time. He straight up tells us his motives, the wanting to cull the herd, wanting the strongest to reign supreme while the soups with trash-ass powers to be eradicated. He was Soup Hitler. I honestly don't really see too much that he could have done, but before I really get into that, if you're one of the people who feels like the final showdown against Godolkin was underwhelming, okay, I get that. Or even if you wanted to see him at his full power, I understand that as well. And then there are others who feel like Godolkin should have had a role to play in the final season of The Boys. I feel like all of those are fair. Personally, I don't agree with that last part, but it's fair. Trust me, I get it. I love me a good antagonist. But with this main story coming to an end, I don't need other antagonists taking away from the main antagonist. Because as you've seen in the final episode, Godolkin would not see eye to eye with Homelander. Hell, that man wouldn't even be able to take care of Homelander. I don't care how powerful he thought he would have been. He was falling apart. So yeah, tough shit to all the people who had their Godolkin theories for the final season of The Boys. Now, allow me to shoot myself some bail. The reason I don't mind the direction that Gen V took with Godolkin is because I detest the thought of spin-offs becoming an integral part for the main story. It's almost like being forced to watch all of the MCU projects just in case they show up in movies when you couldn't care less about them. But at the same time, you don't want to be uninformed or lost like a polar bear in Texas. As much as I like the Gen V characters, I don't need my girl Emma turning gigantic just to sit and kill Firecracker. Nor do I need Marie killing Homelander. I'm cool off of that shit, man. A spin-off character offing the main antagonist would irk me in a way I'm unable to explain without spitting profanity every other word. Marie could definitely play a role, I have no problem with that. But if she plays the major role, oh boy. I can only imagine the faces of people who didn't watch a single episode of Gen V and then seeing Marie pop Homelander's shit. Oh man, they would completely lose it. Moving on from Gen V though, the next point I have to say about all of the theory deep dives is probably gonna have people saying I'm an idiot in case you haven't already. But some people theorize shit so much that when the big twist is already revealed, they had already figured that shit out months in advance. And from that point on, don't matter what happened in the story, they were completely underwhelmed because they predicted the big twist. Maybe I missed something, but is there not more to enjoy about a story than just the big twist? So because you called out the mystery in the first fucking episode, seeing your theory unfold makes the story weak because it was predictable from the jump? Did the story have nothing else to offer, or were you just so caught up in your theory that you failed to grasp onto anything else that the story had to offer? Now, if you think a story is trash, then go ahead, you can kick us back in. That's completely fine. But to say that every story that's predictable is ass, no. And this is where the arrogant assholes online love to pop up. Just because they predicted some shit with their perfect theories, they wanna shit on everyone else who couldn't see it coming from the very beginning just like them, and how the entire story is trash. Fortunately, they are the loud minority. Just to make myself clear, I'm not shitting on people who have perfect theories and are able to predict shit from the jump. Part of that is from reading and watching a bunch of stories, and when you've consumed a lot of media, you're able to spot patterns and piece things together rather easily. I don't know. Part of me feels like a lot of people are just being really disingenuous just so that they could prop themselves up. But what do I know? Anyway, if you're online listening to a stranger tell you the proper way that you should be consuming a show, you should probably tell that stranger to shut the hell up. I can't stress enough how there's nothing inherently wrong with creating theories for stories that you're consuming, but when you're finding yourself being extremely analytical, scene after scene, or overinterpreting, or constantly trying to find things in the background that simply aren't there to complete your conspiracy board with red string all over the damn place, and then get upset and feel some type of way that your theorizing led to nowhere, I truly believe that you have no one to blame but yourself. Like anything, there should be balance. But hey man, if overanalyzing or being extra critical or mass-producing theories is your thing, then keep at it. Keep at it and keep enjoying it. But if I see you bitching about things that don't pan out the way that you believe that they would, with your whiteboard of theories that you've been crafting for months, best believe I sincerely wish that your pillows are always warm during the summer and that your blankets never cover your feet in the winter, you miserable fuck.